What is religion? The dictionary definition of religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Christianity remains the city's most prominent religion. In the last census, 59.1% of Birmingham residents reported themselves as being Christian. The fastest growing religion in Birmingham is having no religion. Figures from the annual population survey show the number of people with no religion grew from 218,000 in 2011 to 342,000 in 2018. In Birmingham, the number of people who identify as other religions has dropped by 50% since 2011 to 6,000 in 2018. This group includes those who follow other faiths from across the world, as well as spiritualist and pagan beliefs. Across Britain, there are now 25 million people who identify as having no religion, making up 40% of the population. This is a 46% increase from 17.1 million in 2011. Christians make up 51% of the national population, but that number has dropped by 15% in 7 years. Hi.
Hello.
So what's your name and your age?
My name is Verity and I'm 18 years old.
Were you ever religious? If so, what religion did you used to follow?
I was a Christian and I grew up in a Christian family since I was born, and that's just all I knew about till I was about 17 years old.
What made you leave the religion, and why do you feel the religion does not resonate with you anymore?
When I was a few years ago, I was going through a really, really rough place at home and just with myself, and it was just a very difficult time for me, so I realised there was a lot of stuff that I needed to focus on more, like my family and college, and I just needed some time for myself instead of everything else.
How different is life being an atheist than being religious?
It is different because I don't have to deal with people's views of me and what they think is a religion, and it is different, but sometimes I do miss it because with some religions it can become like a community and everyone can come in and feel safe as a community, and I sometimes just don't feel that anymore because I'm not a part of it.
What do you want others to know about your viewpoint and your belief as an atheist?
I believe that you should believe in what you want to believe, but do not force it on people. You should never force somebody into a religion because you want them to be in the same religion as you. Say, it's like when I was a Christian, if somebody didn't believe in that, I wouldn't go, well, you have to believe in it, you're like me, you say there's a God, there's this and that. And I think it's wrong for people to force, whether it's forcing your own family, whether it's forcing your own friends. I just think that's wrong. So I think you should believe in what you believe, whatever it is. Just don't force it on other people because it's not fair on other people who don't believe in it.
Yeah, that's true actually. Right now, we are in St. Alpha's Church in the priest's room where he lived. It's just one of the oldest doors in this church. It has like a little peephole, as you can see, where he would have used to communicate with people and to get his food. It's just, there's lots of nice windows in here, and like the floor's really old, the walls are really old. I'm not sure what they currently use it for now, but this is like one of the most historical and interesting places of Alice Church. The architecture is just wonderful. The earliest official gospel, Mark, was written over a generation, 40 years at the alleged death of Jesus, and subsequently it fails the historical test of contemporaneity. The Gospels were written by mostly anonymous authors, and eventually falsely attributed to the authors who did not write them. Nor were these anonymous authors eyewitnesses with two of the Gospels. The Gospels contain numerous forgeries, contradictions, and errors. The Last Supper takes place on the first day or Passover.
Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The Master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, Where wilt thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover? And he sendeth forth two of his disciples, and saith unto them, Go ye into the city, and there shall meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat. And they said unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare? And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in. And ye shall say unto the goodman of the house, The Master saith unto thee, Where is the guest chamber where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples?
According to the Gospel of John, the Last Supper takes place the day before the crucifixion of Jesus, and he is crucified on the day of Passover.
And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cried out, Away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Jesus and led him away.
And 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 23, the Apostle Paul says the following.
For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it, and said, Take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you.
So could you tell me your name and your age?
Yes, I'm Alan Bennett. I'm 79 years of age.
What religion do you follow, and what draws you into follow this religion?
I follow Methodism. I'm a Methodist at Agos Green Methodist Church here in Agos Green. It's virtually a way of life with me. I have been at this church for 63 years, and I was before that at Hall Green Methodist Church for 6 years before that. So Methodism is just a way of life. Is a way of life with me.
Were you born into the faith? If not, how did you discover it, and what did you believe in?
No, I wasn't born into the faith. My parents, remembering when I'm 79, a 79-year-old, I can go back a long, long way, but my parents weren't believers at all. And like many children of that era, we were packed off to Sunday school every Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. From there, that was the Church of England church. There was not so much to do in those days at our age as there is now for children. So I joined the choir, St. Christopher's, believe it or not. I then went on to Boys Brigade at St Christopher's Church. They'd only got a junior section, so when you become 12, you then transfer to a company. This is all relevant because this is how I got into Methodism. And then I went to Hall Green Methodist Church at the age of 12, and then was there till I was 18, and then came here, and I've been here ever since.
In your opinion, do you think that Methodism helps young people discover themselves and experience new things?
Oh well, yeah, I think it does. I think all religions help youngsters to appreciate themselves and their faith and so on. But as I said earlier on, there's not enough of them now. And when you've got small numbers in anything, it's hard work. If you've got, as we have, just a couple of youngsters in junior church, activities are very limited. If you've got 20, activities can be very, very broad and very meaningful. But we just keep having to soldier on to try and plug that gap.
So do you feel that if there's a young person who's a Methodist, do you think that it helps them discover who they are as a person?
Oh yes, certainly. Oh yes.
How do you feel that?
Through looking and learning, being part of the family, realising that it's not just their parents who love them, but that there are a lot of people, in the fellowship who do. I'm sure it's a positive thing.
How do you feel that faith in young people has changed since you were younger?
Well, I think it's changed since I was a youngster, in as much as they're not coming to church. We did. Again, when I was a youngster, I was in a Boys Brigade company of 45. We paraded every month, with 45 people, and now unfortunately that company doesn't exist. And being a religious organisation, Boys Brigade was the first uniformed organisation, and it's based on the twin principles of religion and discipline, as opposed to the Scouts. So all Boys Brigade companies belonged to a church. When I was a youngster, there were 110 Boys Brigade companies in Birmingham. There are now less than 30. So again, the children aren't coming, so how can they be influenced if they don't come?